Hello and welcome back to another Crypto Down Under Bitcoin technical analysis update. Thought I'd just start this video with a nice picture of some kangaroos. There you go. All right, where are we at? So the weekend has closed up. Let's have a look at the weekend. What happened? You know, we know that the typical behavior of a Saturday, Sunday is kind of flat, kind of neutral. Not a whole lot happens. You can see that here. So now with TradingView works off UTC. So I'm time zone plus 10. Let's go to 0-100 hours, the UTC. So we've got Saturday, Sunday here. I'll put S and S for Saturday and Sunday. You can see most of the exciting activity happened inside the Friday, which is quite typical for Bitcoin. Friday action, Saturday, Sunday flat. Monday, the day that has been, I think there's like an hour and a half left of it, has been a bit of a correction. Which is also, I'm sure you can find a lot of Mondays that typically spend the time retracing or pulling back, thanks to the stock market. The stock market has a lot to blame for that. I guess blame's the kind of wrong word, but I feel it's like one of the prime influences for like why Monday is the way it is. Let me go UTC on here as well. So now the S&P is a New York chart. So let's go to New York time zone. So it opens 9:30 a.m. closes at 3:30. So 9:30 to 3:30, 7 hours. And just like on that Bitcoin Monday, look at the Monday that the S&P had. Corrective, right? The Friday move up. Obviously the stock market closes over the weekend, which is inside. So it's between these two candles here is the weekend, right? No influence from the stock market means Bitcoin does this. Usually, like that's what we get. All right. So what are we looking at? We had our rising wedge from the previous week. Let's just depict all the days. Oh, this song's repeating, 1 second. Just go next. There we go. All right. So we had our, let's see, our weekend. This is UTC. Cool. Saturday. Now wait a minute. The days are saying something different now. Make sure it's UTC. Yeah, no, that's right. Saturday, Sunday. Okay, good. Just making sure. So we had, Saturday, Sunday, which means we had Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and then Monday over here. Look at that. Monday, corrective. At least in the morning of Monday, and then you had a rip. The Monday session. Once again, Saturday, Sunday. Look at that. Can you see the behavior? You get all of the exciting activity during the week. During the week is where all of the volatility is. So I'm glad, you almost have a reason to celebrate Mondays again. Or not that you ever did, but now you do. All right, so it looks like we're coming back into the rising wedge for Bitcoin. Down on the hourly chart now. It is still technically in an uptrend on this time frame. I'll do a little bit of analysis on market structure through the time frames. Now, I might need a different chart for this. Let's go to the index chart. So we've sort of covered what is happening at the moment with Bitcoin today, like what the weekend did and where we're going on, where we've been, and what Monday provided for us. We're sort of heading back into the rising wedge. So now that we've got that out of the way, I want to talk about more macro stuff. Let's go to the monthly chart, and this is the index chart. This is the Bitcoin index. So you get the most price history on this chart. I'm going to go logarithmic because the nature of the price difference, you need logarithmic to see, to have an even playing field for seeing the performance. So we do that. Now, there's nothing downtrend anywhere about this monthly chart, so we can tick that off. Monthly does this. To me, this is where the pivots, this is where the prime pivots are. Yes, there are other pivots within it, but they're not prime. These are the more prime. Now, this is a double bottom in 2015, so I'm going to let's just call this the bottom here, even though that was also the bottom. It was just a double bottom. Market cycle top, cycle low, COVID-19 pullback. It didn't quite reconnect with the cycle low here. 69K all-time high. Bear market bottom of 2022, which we just came out of. Well, it's 2 years now, but it only feels like a couple of months ago. Bull market top so far. So we're at a so far point. We haven't, I don't think this is the cycle top here. We are way too early to call this a cycle anything. It's like halfway through. But yeah, can you see the structure? The market structure here is up. Now, the way you define that is that you find the lows, right? Let's find the lows. Now, when a support resistance line, which is what these are, what I'm depicting here, these are support lines. When did they ever get broken on the way up? Never. They haven't. None of these supports have been broken. Now let's look at the resistances of the market. These are the resistances, the pivots on the top side. We'll make them green. Now the resistances in green have been broken, as you can see, as I'm drawing them, as I'm tracing them out. Each one, every time, has been broken. Even technically now, even though it doesn't look like it on this chart, but this one has also been broken. Technically, not by much, because we're still working on it, right? But because they've been broken, I'm going to make them dashed. I'm going to make them a broken line. And you can see that is the behavior on the monthly chart. You get support respected and never revisited. But you can also see that as we've been climbing, the momentum is starting to level out. So you had the most explosive growth for Bitcoin in its first few years of existence, of course. But now that you're starting to level out, at least logarithmically. So from a performance perspective, from a price perspective, so price and performance are two very different things, and this is why we have logarithmic and linear. Logarithmic is to view performance on an even playing field. So you can see the performance is flattening. But then when you go linear, it's completely different. We're talking price now. So price, from a price perspective, we're into the heavens, like we're way up. So I'm going to delete that arc. But yeah, anyway, that's the point with the structure. The structure on the monthly, still an uptrend. This could change at some point in the future, right? If price ever comes down and gets lower than the last red line, you've changed the monthly character of Bitcoin. Because at the moment, the monthly character for Bitcoin has been up only. You've probably heard people joke about up only. It is the reality for Bitcoin. It is up only on the monthly chart. So that's what we've got at the moment. Now that last price, that bear market low is basically 15,473. Let's call it 15,500. $15,500 is the last low of the market. Now let's jump down. Let's go down to the weekly, and let's turn off logarithmic because we don't need it from this view. I'm going to delete these structure lines of the monthly. Actually, no, let's leave them in. Let's make them bold though. Let's make them like 3 pixels thick. All right. Now, obviously 2022 was a bear market. You had a series of lower highs and lower lows. And let's line that up there. Change this to red because it is a bear market. A bit thinner of a line. And then what do we have right now? We have our current bull market. We have, you know, the starting point, the lowest low. We have, you could argue this was a high, that was a low. This was another high, that was a low. This was an equal high and an equal low. So you had a range there, you had a parallel, which means no character was broken, but you had no structure breaks for a period of time. Then you had the ETF rip, you had the ETF correction, you had the all-time high. Now, this is where it gets tricky because it comes down to how do you define the trend here. I would argue, from my perspective, I've actually shifted recently. I used to think that, like, I'm more of the, like, let me change this to green so it makes sense. I was of the frame of mind that this low here was the last significant low on the weekly time frame, but I've changed my mind. I think right now we have this on the weekly, and we have lost the character of the bull of 2023. That has been it's been broken. The last low was here, I would argue, just here, and we've since obviously broken that low. So that's why we've switched it red, and we are slightly heading downhill at the moment. That's not to say that this can't happen. And to make this a fresh bull market, and there's a very good chance that it will, but to make this go back into a bull on the weekly chart, you need to get above the previous swing high, which would be this line here, 70,000 basically. So you've heard me say it in previous videos, you need to get above 70k to class that as a return to trend. So I'm going to put a hypothetical green line here. So when you get that high broken, you've changed the character to an uptrend again. And that's what it would look like. You would change that, you know, that previous low high gets broken. Okay. So that's the weekly. I do think the weekly is downtrending. That's the weekly time frame. Linear. Now daily, it's a similar story on the daily. It's, you know, it's just a zoomed in version of the weekly, I guess, obviously. Let's go to the 4 hour though. The 4 hour, I think the story changes a bit. I want to say this. Now this is going to be a little bit longer of a video than usual. It might go, I don't know, 16 minutes or something. I'm almost done. I'll wrap it up. So from here, downtrend, right? I feel like these are some key pivots on the 4 hour chart. We went down here, we went up to there, we went down to here. So we'll make that 1 pixel and red. However, Now, even that might be too sensitive to call those pivots. Let's just make it a bit more. Let's go a bit clearer. Let's go. I think maybe this one's pretty significant, and then that high is maybe, yeah. Let's go. Let's use that high there, and then it's like maybe there, and then there, and then it just bombs out. So you got, yeah. There's an A. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down. Now, at the moment, you've got an uptrend on the 4-hourly chart, I would argue, because you got pivot to there, pivot to there. Yes, there's sub pivots in here. Maybe the hourly chart is more depicting of that. Then you've got, you know, it just depends how you cut it. Like, where do you put the pivots, you know? You got a double top here. And look, you're still in, I would argue, a 4-hourly uptrend. We haven't killed this trend yet. Last significant low for me, what I think, my opinion, is about here. This low over here. And it hasn't been broken yet, so it's a solid line. And that's why I'm calling an uptrend at the moment on the 4-hourly time frame. Not the daily though. Not the daily or weekly. The daily or weekly, you need to get above him. You need to get above that level. Alright, I think that pretty much covers Bitcoin for the moment. I think, you know, you go down to the hourly, you can go all the way down to the 1 minute. I mean, let's just look at the 1 minute real quick. You can see it's in a downtrend, right? And even sub 1 minute, you can see, just real quick, you can see uptrend to it too. And then just as much as you can see downtrend, you know. This is like, probably exists below 1 minute, but yeah, there's ups and downs to all time frames. But yeah, find the time frame. I think the higher you go, the more influential, the more like the stronger the influence. So obviously the monthly is a stronger indicator than the weekly is, but the weekly is stronger than the daily is stronger than the 4 hours, so on and so forth. But you know, knowing that Bitcoin's bullish on the monthly doesn't really help you intraday. Like if you're trading it, if you're investing in it, cool. Monthly's good. Monthly, you know, keeping an eye on that as an investor. You know, you're a little bit out of touch with the waves and the movements, but yeah, perhaps the weekly is a bit better for investing, because you can pick up the swings, you can pick up, you know, what's broken, where, and at what time, and you can get out and whatnot. But yeah, it just depends on your time horizon and your goals. Anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble on a bit longer than usual. I'll be doing a Dogecoin update right after this video upload, so check that out when it hits. But anyway, yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. Remember to hit like and subscribe and leave a comment if you want, and I'll catch you in the next one.